opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Okay, and welcome to the Herman Tiu Laureate edition of GNN's Talk News TV. For this week, we are going to discuss a raging and burning issue, not only here, but in many parts of the world. And this is about private possession, ownership, and carrying of firearms. There are many shades and many levels to the question. It's not just ownership. Do you allow ownership? Do you allow ownership and also only when it's kept in the home? Do you allow only sectors to carry the firearms? Do you allow assault weapons as in the United States? In the United States, it's not just registration, but the many of the advocates of the Second Amendment. Note, I did not say gun ownership, advocates of gun, but a principle in their constitution, the right to bear arms, which is based on their history. And we will show you a video of a gun or a Second Amendment advocate explaining why they can never give up that Second Amendment. We know that in the United States there's a great clamor among certain sectors, especially the Obama government, to start cracking down on gun ownership. And one of the senators, Senator Ron Paul, said that would start the second American Revolution if they ever tried that with an executive order. Because the discussion is that they need it now, so they cannot wait for a constitutional amendment and so on. And that threat may trigger the second American Revolution in the year 2012, the first one being 1776. So we also have a legal practitioner with us to explain the different levels, different nuances of the issue from a legal point of view. But most important, we have two, a gun aficionado, a personal friend of mine, whom you know often in our program already. Mr. Lingo Alquas will be joining us later in the second half. And the reason why I invited him is, at one time, he owned 50 caliber machine guns. That when, during a coup, a police general had to run to him to borrow such arms. Was that good or bad? We'll listen to him later on. And most important of all, we have an anti-crime crusader who himself and his family has been victimized by a very heinous crime. For the public to appreciate why certain sectors really need to be able to carry, to defend themselves, because they are fighting the criminals themselves. Criminals that many of us suspect are in cahoots with police enforcers themselves. As we have just seen in Atimunan, how police enforcers themselves can be the source of this terror crimes. And if we have such element in the police forces, who will defend the citizens? Okay. We'll ask our anti-crime crusader, who is a member of the VACC, Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption, Mr. Arsenio Boy Evangelista, to narrate to us his circumstances now and why his life is in peril, while the question of his right to carry a firearm is in limbo right now because of the COMELEC gun ban. Boy, magandang araw sa iyo. We will also introduce at the same time Attorney Judo Bonifacio, who's right beside Boy. But let's go to Boy first. Pakikwento nga yung circumstances mo at yung totoong peligrong hinaharap mo dahil dito sa gun ban ngayon?
Okay, magandang
Please, go ahead.
araw, Herman. No? First, I'll be representing VACC as a group, no? As a group against who's fighting against crime and corruption, and also I'll be representing myself as an individual victim, and I'm the private complainant against the number one notorious criminal syndicate, well organized, which is known as the Dominguez Carnapping Group. So our point here is our stand here is no to total gun ban. Why? Because we strongly believe that we have the right to carry PTC outside of our residences.
Anong PTC?
Permit to carry outside of our offices, residences, to protect, no, ourselves against criminals. So the state has the obligation to protect and serve us, no. So in doing so, they should, no? They should. One way to protect us is to give us that right to bring guns and avail of our security personnel.
But you're also given, due to your status as one of, you're covered under the Witness Protection Program. Am I correct?
No.
You're not covered.
Hindi po ako magka-qualify
So wala
sa
ka talagang
witness.
security pinoprovide despite what struggle you are doing against crime.
No, I was given by PNP, no, from the office of the PNP, Chief PNP. I was given 6 personnels, no, 2 government provide and 4 private securities.
You have to sustain the 4 private security yourself? Ikaw bang nagbibigay ng allowance?
Dun sa 4 na private, I have to pay them, no? Tapos yung government provide, that's for free.
Police ba yan or military?
Police.
Okay.
Non-commissioned officers.
I think it's about the right time for you to explain why you are in this anti-crime crusade. What brought you to this?
First, I was victimized, no? My son was victimized, no? After that, na-realize ko na I'll be facing a well-organized crime syndicate, no? They have good lawyers.
Are you in a situation to narrate what happened to your son? I know it's very heinous. You might not want to narrate it, but
It's okay.
please go ahead.
Okay. Come January 13, second death anniversary ni Venson, no?
Benson is your son.
Venson is my
Anong
son.
edad ni Benson?
He was 30 years old then.
30,
Oo.
okay.
Naka-advertise po
Married
yung...
ba siya? May children?
Married po siya. May 2 anak, no?
Okay.
So, last January 13, 2011, naka-advertise po yung ano namin, Land Cruiser. Tapos,
Ibebenta niyo sana?
ibebenta namin, naka-advertise. He was abducted and later on killed, no? He was burned beyond recognition.
Sinunog siya?
Sinunog po siya, dinala siya sa Cabanatuan, ano?
From where? From Manila?
From Cubao all the way to Cabanatuan. So, just to update you,
So yung anak niyo, pumunta doon sa pinag-usapang lugar, siguro papakita yung sasakyan, ganyan.
No. Sa showroom namin, ano?
Sa showroom niyo?
Pinuntahan siya doon. Oo. Just to update you.
Ano, nag-test drive lang sila? O
Nag-test drive po
test drive
sila.
lang, no?
Oo.
Okay.
Oo. After the test drive, mayroong mga backup na sasakyan.
So hindi na nakabalik sa showroom niyo?
Hindi na po.
Hindi na nakabalik?
Oo.
Okay.
So, after that, nakita na yung body niya, no? Burn beyond recognition.
Paano na-recognize DNA? Nag-DNA test?
Nag-ano kami po, dental matching.
Okay.
Then merong isang yung
ID card or something?
half burn yung mga ID ng driver's license, gun license. Now, just to update you, I am the complainant now against the Dominguez brothers, no? I'm the one attending the trials and
Okay.
okay. Then
Tapos sumali ka sa Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption.
tama po.
So you're not just pursuing your case, you're now helping in pursuing all the
Other victims.
Other victims, tinutulungan nyo.
Yes.
Tumutulong ka na rin
Oo.
doon.
So, in the process na ginagawa po namin yon, na-expose din kami sa mga different criminal elements, no? Kaya, so ang stand namin talaga dito, why deny us of bringing guns and outside of our homes when we believe that mga around like 90-95% ang crime involving guns ay nangyayari po sa labas ng ating offices or bahay, no? Like yung riding in tandem.
Yung mga nakamotorsiklo, riding in tandem.
Tama po.
Ang dami nun.
Ang dami-dami po nun. So, why deny us, no? So, pag nangyayari yon, parang soft target kami sa mga riding in tandem, sa mga criminals.
Okay. We'll move forward. You are now in a tight situation, no? In fact, understatement yung you're in a tight situation. Nasa peligro pa talaga because the gun ban removes even the security that was provided you by government, and your force security cannot be allowed also because what's the point if they don't have their arms with them, di ba? Yun ang situation. So, the gun ban has caused you this dilemma. And anong nangyayari na ngayon? Nakakalabas ka pa ba? At saka, you were in a press conference a few days ago where I met you again, and you said, kahit na may ban, you are compelled to bring your firearm. Even if they arrest you, you have to bring if you go outside your home because you know you're under threat. Di ba?
Tama po.
Oh.
So di po nila kami nabigyan ng option, ano? So, wala kaming option to bring our guns. So our plans is siguro to look for a safe sanctuary. Ang plano nga po namin,
So, tatago ka muna during the period na may ban.
parang gano'n, no?
6 months yun.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, bumili na nga ako ng maraming reading materials. Talaga tapos yung mga...
Magkukulong ka, in other words.
Magkukulong
Ikaw ang
ako.
kulong, yung kriminal ang
nasa labas.
gumadala.
Tama po, opo. Plano nga po namin, magpunta kami sa inside the Comelec, doon na kami matulog.
Maganda yun.
Kasi
para
I
maintindihan
think yung Comelec is the best sanctuary now, no? So, sana, saka ang position namin dito, why deny us of that privilege
ikaw,
when we are not...
yung baril mo, na-ban ka, hindi ka pwede magdala, yung mga pumaslang sa anak mo, palagay mo ba, susunod sila sa gun ban?
Nako, hindi po. For the record po, 3 times na kami nagpunta sa Comelec, no, with Chairman Dante Jimenez. Nag-effort kami talaga to secure yung exemption. But then, na-deny kami, no? Ang ruling po kasi ngayon sa Comelec, senators up lang. So, paano naman kami mga law-abiding
Senators up, pwedeng magdala ng baril.
Ma-exempt po sila. Hindi i-recall yung mga bodyguards nila, securities nila. Ngayon, ang tanong ko po, ano ba difference ng senators up and kaming mga victims na tao rin, na may mga threat assessment din na very high. So, nasaan ang protection namin from the state na saka yung tingin po namin merong violations dito, yung Bill of Rights, no? Saka in the first place, hindi naman kami nagra-run for public office. Bakit ililimit nila yung mga securities namin and bodyguards? When nakikita naman nila, no less than the President mentioned in his last SONA, the Dominguez brothers, malaki nila na na-neutralize nila. So,
nakakulong na ba yung mga Dominguez brothers?
Yes, all accounted yung yung direct participation kay Benson. But then, meron naman sila, alam naman natin, very obvious na meron din sila mga other members outside of the jail, no?
And yung mga kasabot nila na nasa posisyon ng authority, meron ba tayong mga suspects yan?
Meron, as a matter of fact, nung balikan natin, noong 2011, February, nagkaroon ng press conference ang PNP na binabanggit po nila na mayroong isang PNP general na involved sa carnapping. May mga junior officers in the rank of colonels, like 14 officers, and also mayroong mga LTO officials.
Yan ba na-bulgar ng mga pangalan? Are they under surveillance na? May nakulong ba dyan?
Alam mo, ang nakakalungkot dito, no, we lost a golden opportunity dito. Yung sinasabi nilang blue book na minimension ni the late Secretary Jess Robredo, meron siyang blue book containing all those personalities. Kaya nga, we lost a golden...
Nawala ba yung blue book na yun? Ano ba nangyari after Sir Robredo left the scene?
Yun nga po nawala yon, hindi man lamang na na mention or na sana na-pick up po ng Senate, no? Senate for investigation. So sayang po. Sayang.
Maraming misteryo doon kay Robredo, no? Including this one. Okay. Just iko-kompleto ko lang yung storya ni Boy Evangelista dahil siguro mahihirapan siya magsalaysay niyan. Yung karumal-dumal na pamamaraan na pinatay yung kanyang anak, no? Na si Bensons. Binukak ang kanyang dibdib, ano? Yes. Ganyan ba? And we cannot really imagine. Tapos sinunog pa and so on.
Yung spare tire, sining-sing talaga sa loob ng katawan niya.
Sinuot siya.
Sinuot.
Tapos sinindihan yung gulong.
Talagang...
So, yan ang kaharap na peligro ni Boy ngayon dahil tinutulak niya yung kaso, ano? Anyway, let's go to the legal issues kasi our attorney here, Judo Bonifacio, will explain to us that it is a complex issue.
It is a very
kasi
complex
yung anti-gun noon is, ban all the guns, ano? What are the complications really of the issue?
The gun ban...
By the way, you represent
A2S5.
Please explain.
A2S5 is a coalition.
Okay.
It's a coalition of people, of stakeholders in gun ownership. Our members include members of the judiciary, members of the
retired or even active? Pwede.
Active,
Okay.
no? Members of the Prosecutors League, members of media, NROI, members of the dealers themselves, manufacturers, stakeholders. Actually, those who actually are into gun ownership and believe that gun ownership is important, not only for self-defense but also for actually developing oneself in holding and carrying of firearms. Now, I was listening to the story of Boy, no, and really the right to carry or the carrying of a firearm is now a privilege. So is ownership. Maybe that's where the problem is.
So, ang kaibahan ng Pilipinas at Estados Unidos, the right to bear arms is a right.
Is specifically in the U.S., it is specifically provided in their constitution. Sa atin,
wala sa constitution.
Wala sa constitution.
Walang banggit sa constitution.
Walang binanggit doon. Although it actually implies that that the state has the duty to protect its citizens. But how is that done? Should it be the state themselves? But we know that they cannot always guard the entire population. As a matter of fact, there is a shortage.
In fact, mamaya we will show the video of an American gun advocate, no, a Second Amendment advocate, at ang takot ng American nation, ano, is that the state can be the enemy of the people.
Precisely.
We will go to that later.
Oh, yeah, that's precisely.
So, importante lang na ini-stress natin dito. Sa Pilipinas, pribilehiyo, hindi karapatan. Tama ba yun? Ano? Anyway, go ahead, please.
Well, there is a bill now in the Senate. Okay. This is Senate Bill number 2993, authored by Senator Lacson, Ping Lacson. And this actually now provides that, one, carrying of firearms shall be issued by the Chief PNP to qualified people whose lives are under threat or their lives are in imminent danger. What does that mean now? That means now it is not discretionary. Now it is, the presumption is, if there is a death threat that can be established, no more questions asked.
You
there
have to
has
be granted.
You have to be granted a permit to carry. I think that
As in the case of ano,
that
no?
will address the
Boy,
problem
oh.
or the case of Boy. You know, when the bodyguards are withdrawn from you, no, and you have nothing or no one to help you to secure your health, no, that is such an that gives you such an insecure feeling.
Yeah, it can give you mental anguish.
As a matter of
and
fact,
torture, no?
probably for some of those who are of weaker stuff, no, they will just probably just stay in a corner and not anymore move, no. But see, I admire Boy because despite that fact that he is still pursuing and coming out
Still
and
fighting.
espousing his what he thinks is the proper thing to do, and actually to espouse seeking justice. I think that is the highest form of dedication.
So, should we push that in Philippine law and in the Philippine Constitution, the right to bear arms becomes a right?
I would not say to push it to the Constitution because that would require an amendment. Maybe we need a law. And maybe this is the law that will actually provide
And the basis
secure.
for the law is the right to life and liberty.
Yes,
diba?
precisely. There is still a basis for
There's a
that.
basis, yeah.
Now, it's just a matter of interpreting or actually giving those who are actually needing it the justification or the strength to go to the PNP and say, I need it.
Yeah, it's an interesting legal and constitutional question. Someday maybe we can discuss it
Yes.
with Attorney Alan Pagia because the state is supposed to represent the people.
Correct.
And therefore, it is probably integral to that they will protect the people. But we know that the states do not always represent the people.
Precisely. Then they actually have to allow the people to defend themselves. Now, the scary part there is probably the experience, our experience in the country, that there are people with guns who actually commit crimes. These people, actually, or 99% of crimes, of gun-related crimes, are actually committed by people using guns that are not licensed.
Not licensed. Not registered.
Not registered, not
registered.
licensed. That's why the PNP is having
Receipted kaya yung mga unlicensed. Theoretically, something, a firearm not receipted cannot be registered. Di
It
ba?
cannot be registered, it cannot be traced.
Okay.
That is the dilemma of the
So
PNP.
99% of gun-related crimes are committed with unregistered firearms.
That is admitted by the PNP already. That is a fact. I mean, you cannot turn that
So
the other way
enforcement
around.
ang problem, hindi guns itself.
Maybe that's precisely. Diba? There is a problem of the PNP, okay, which we want to help, which we actually have to help,
Okay.
because they need help. They don't know how to recover the loose,
Okay.
or not. I will not use the word loose, Herman, no?
Okay.
Because loose means anything under the sun. Eh.
From,
They want to recover, or they want to
from
get.
Baltic to anything
Yes,
else. No?
yes. For those probably who with expired licenses, they could say that's loose because they don't know who is the owner, or rather they know the owner, but they don't know where the gun is. It has not been registered, or the license has not been renewed. So that is the problem. We want to help them, but they want to do this by themselves
we
also.
Fast forward before we run out of time in the first half. Is there still anybody in Philippine society objecting to private gun ownership but kept only in the home? You were telling me that even the anti-gun lobby or movement is no longer asking for a total gun ban even in the homes.
Yes, that is true. No?
So si Nandi Pacheco is no longer demanding.
My
everybody's
understanding,
right.
the last time I talked to Dandy Pacheco, he was saying that we do not agree to total gun ban, but if you will have a gun, and you will own a gun, it must be limited in number, and it should only be kept at home.
Okay, that sounds good, huh? That sounds good, that sounds fair, but listening to the American Second Amendment advocates, and I think the Filipino public will be very interested to think about this. Ano? Ang argumento nila is, we don't even want it registered. Because when it's registered, the government knows what we have. And when they come to crack down on us, they know exactly
Where we are.
what they are facing and what they will confiscate. Ano? And yung sinasabi nila is, we don't trust government. And if we study history, baka maintindihan natin na napaka-counting gobyerno ang nagiging totoong responsable sa mga mamamayan nila. Di ba? But yan lang, food for thought for our audience, no? So, dito sa Pilipinas, mas simple. Walang nag-advocate ng ganyan pa, no? Pero nagsisimula na ako mag-isip, mukhang natututo ako dito sa Estados Unidos, no? But, so, even Nandi Pacheco doesn't seem to object to firearms in the home. So, yung carrying lang.
Carrying, being brought out.
No? Go ahead. No?
Kami naman, ang position namin is, you are out of your house 3/4 of the day to work and to socialize. At home,
at saka doon ang wala kang proteksyon habang bumabiyahe ka.
Precisely.
So, no?
Most of the crimes are actually the gun-related crimes are committed on people outside of the residence. It is not in the residence. Because those who actually, some of those who actually own guns actually live in condominiums, in villages.
Right.
It's secure.
May security na.
So you don't need protection there.
Well, this is, again, of course, Sandy Hook and what's happening in the United States, we cannot avoid but refer to also. No? So, ang argument ng mga Second Amendment advocates is, ang problema, hindi yung merong nakahawak ng baril na bumaril. Ang problema nila, yung attitude at yung ilang mga regulasyon nata, sa eskwelahan, kahit mga gwardya, walang baril. So, walang makatulong pagka nandoon na yung problema. Ano? And doon naman kay Andre Breivik ba yun, no? Yung sa Norway. 77 ang pinatay. Kalahating oras lumipas, alam na ng pulis, hindi pa nakarating dahil yung helicopter ata, naghahanap pa. Paano nga yung mga batang walang kalaban? Umabot ng 77 ang pinatay ng isang tao. So, the argument is that if more people had guns there, they would have had a fighting chance. Anyway,
I believe that also, Herman. No? But if you look at it, no, in the case of Adam Lanza, no?
It's very easy to remember Lanza if you know Mario Lanza.
Okay, Mario Lanza, sige. In the case of Adam Lanza, no, he was a special child, and he was actually taking medication.
Asperger's.
Yes.
Asperger's.
Okay. So that affects when you withdraw the medicine. There is an effect on the way that the person thinks. In the other cases, in the case of the Kawit killing recently, you will notice that he was actually a shabu user and a pusher. So it is not really just a matter of...
Bakit may baril nga yung shabu user?
Ay, hindi ko na masasagot yan, Herman. I'm the problem is precisely.
Because we're approaching the end of our first half. We have 2 minutes to go. And I think, malinaw, we have established, if 99% of the guns used in firearm-related crimes are unregistered guns, anong problema? Yung baril ba? Yung mamamayan na may baril? Hindi. Ang problema, yung kapulisan at ang community. Because we cannot just leave it to the police. If the community were to say, hey, itong mga ito may mga illegal firearms, baka meron tayong laban. Pero as it is really enforcement. So I suggest that the anti-gun people first help fix our law enforcement. Okay, 1 more minute. Go ahead. Ano pang ibang complications? So, carry, kung sa bahay, okay na din sa anti-gun. So, yung carrying na lang.
Carrying na lang, okay.
And then, if we go later on to the second half, yung higher level of questions, no? Like, what about assault rifles and so on? Yun yung mga issues naman sa states, which we will be discussing with Linggoy. Pero 1 minute from the legal aspect, can you wrap it up, for example?
So, with this, if this bill will be actually approved and passed and signed by the President, then it will address the needs of boy. And those, not only boy, but those who actually need protection. And that is 24/7. The criminals will not sleep. They work at night. When you're least expected, that's when they're there. So you need it all 24/7.
So, 30 seconds, boy. Do you think you'll get final approval for your permit to carry again during this period?
Hindi pa sure, no? But then, I'm hoping, no? I'm asking the COMELEC for humanitarian reasons na somehow mabigyan nila kami, no?
Sige.
So we'll have may option din kami outside of the street, outside of our house, na yung option to fight back, no, against these criminals, no.
So when you come inside COMELEC, we'll join you and we'll send you some food and.
Okay, please.
Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat, boy. We'll have Linggoy sit there after this break, no. But we'll need our lawyer for further legal questions and legal issues. No? So we're now taking our break. Maraming salamat ulit, boy. I hope you get your permit to defend yourself.
Okay, I hope so.
Okay, so
Thank you
sige,
so
let's
much.
take our break.
Okay.